The cooled, pitched wort is transferred for fermentation into either horizontal or cylindrical conical vessels. These tanks are most often made of stainless steel. At Moosehead, our lagers are fermented in vertically arranged cylindrical conical tanks, which have a cylinder-shaped top and cone-shaped bottom so the yeast can accumulate in the lower cone portion of the tank after fermentation. Our ales, on the other hand, are fermented using horizontal tanks with yeast skimmers. The duration of the fermentation process varies according to the recipe used. Yeast is used to convert the fermentable sugars in the wort to alcohol, carbon dioxide, and other metabolites that contribute to aroma and flavor. Beer exposed to air or oxygen will experience quality issues, but during the fermentation process, sterile air or oxygen must be added to the wort to facilitate yeast growth. The oxygen is quickly used up by the yeast, and then fermentation proceeds in an anaerobic state. Ale yeast is fermented at warmer temperatures and flocculates to the top of the tank where it is collected after fermentation. That is why it is called top fermenting yeast. The exact fermentation temperature, or in some cases temperatures, are an important factor that varies by recipe. Lager yeasts, on the other hand, are fermented at cooler temperatures and flocculates to the bottom of the tank where it is collected after fermentation. This is why it is called bottom fermenting yeast. Again, the exact fermentation temperatures vary by recipe. When the sugars in the fermenting wort have been almost completely used up by the yeast, the fermentation process slows and the yeast starts to settle. When this happens, we conduct a series of quantifiable tests to determine when fermentation ends. At that point, the vessel is gradually cooled, which encourages the settling of the yeast. The yeast is then cropped, and the liquid, now called beer, goes to aging. We'll take a closer look at the aging process in our next episode.